All right, ready for the next one? We're doing Coke, right?
Sure. So you've said it all. It's Coke. Not a lot to say. Who doesn't know Coke? The company, obviously, this is a large company. We're not looking at the main holding company, the parent company, Coke, but we're rather looking at the Mexican subsidiary, headquartered in Mexico. Market cap is around $17 billion. Huge. It's liquid. This is the ADR ticker. We can see they fell during the corona, just like others of the market. It is consumer name. It got impacted by the corona, the COVID-19. If we look historically, also it got a nice bump back in 2013-14, pulled back, and now it's nicely recovering, and we might see another peak like the one we got back in 2013-14. The company again is selling, drinks that everyone loves. Also, they sell beer in their Brazilian subsidiary and in Colombia and in Guatemala. So they benefit also from the spirit market. So they're on both alcohol and non-alcoholic spirits and drinks. If we look at it from Weiss ratings, these guys has a very good reward index and a very good risk index. They rate very well on that end. And there you go. Yeah, they have A- and B for risk, A- for reward. Additionally, when we look at this, obviously, as Mandeep highlighted, the value comes from these company trades as a much lower valuation versus S&P and versus some of its peers. And their dividend yield is around 1.7%, which is very good, considering that, again, they have a lot of free investment for manufacturing and bottling. If we look at the comparison, again, we can see how the company been able to improve their margins, their revenue growth, since Corona. Again, we can see how they improved again the revenue growth, their margins. So these guys are growing again. They distribute in Latin America. There's a lot of potential in Latin America for the growth. So if we can kind of summarize the points in favor of this company, they have a very strong brand portfolio under their belt. They're operating in a growing markets, Latin America, and they have a solid financial performance in terms of growth and in terms of margins. And on the top of it, they have attractive valuation, given that they trade at a lower multiples versus some of their peers and versus the market in general. Risks. The main risk I see it comes from two: competition, but competition always been there. It's the cost of goods. As we've seen with inflation and with distribution bottlenecks, this has increased the cost, and how much of that they've been able to pass to the consumer is a key. If we are assuming that we're coming to an era where inflation is stabilizing and we might start to see contracting, so they are in a very good shape. That said, that's the major concern to me is the company's ability to manage their costs the input, the ingredients cost, and the distribution. And I think they've done a good job. Again, we've seen how they've been able to recently maintain and even improve their margins. These guys have a long-term offtake deals, and also they have a long-term distribution partners where they can have a slightly control over the cost. So it shouldn't be a major thing. So again, to summarize, in a company that has a strong brand portfolio, operating in a growth market, solid financial, kind of sexy valuation, so to speak. So we think it's a good company to look at, and you get the icing on the cake with a 1.6% dividend yield. It's not that much, but it's good.
You know, Al, you're exactly right. And Coca-Cola in Mexico, and when I lived there, you don't have water deliveries, you have Coke deliveries. And I'm not kidding. They literally drive a truck to your house and undo crates and crates of Coke. They will stack them outside your house for you, and actually you get your bottles. This is what you get. You'll get these. Okay. So these, and you want to know why it's popular? It's because you're comparing this to this. I don't know why it's blurring out, but it's trying to cover up the badging. You know, one of these uses high fructose corn syrup. This uses cane sugar, right? I mean, I tell you that there's no question that this is much better.
We're not sponsored in any way by Coke. We are unaffiliated.
No, we're not sponsoring them. But the funny thing is that this really does appeal to a different demographic.
Yeah.
And look at the container as well. What is this container?
Glass.
Right. How recyclable is this?
100%.
And they collect them all. So they deliver them, they collect them, they recycle them. You wouldn't have thought that perhaps Mexico would be the home of recycling and that sort of thing. You'd be surprised how seriously some of this stuff is taken. And that effect, it does reduce their costs as well, ultimately. And, you know, I do really think, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say it tastes better. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have had that there. I don't even know I've got the other one. I guess it's less available. Let's be honest. But the fact that it's in the US and being sold is a tremendous, to me, a point of evidence for their potential for expansion to a market that wants what they are selling. And you can't get surprised, Al, when they supply beer and all sorts of other things while they're at it. It is just part of the Mexican way. They really believe in entrepreneurship, and they will work extremely hard to get into a market, to penetrate that market and grow that market. And the evidence is there. It's a long-term stock. Okay, you're going to hold it for a while. You're going to grow. This is all of these value stocks. You're not buying them today to sell tomorrow. So this is just another example of a company that is there, been around for quite a while, and will continue to grow if they continue to work the way they work. And there's no reason to believe that they won't.
Well, one of the things that I learned by osmosis sitting on the trading desk was what to listen for, during shareholder meetings. And I actually had a couple of my trading mentors suggested buying even just one share of a stock. So that way you can actually ask questions because you're a shareholder. So it seems if somebody was looking to hold Coke over the long term, particularly this one, is finding out based on how the company's doing, how well are they getting distribution, who are some of their major competition, particularly overseas. But I mean, that's obviously getting way into the weeds. What I really like about this is the fact that I had never even thought about Coca-Cola not having everything under one umbrella company or one company. Meaning this gives somebody a really good way to go into another market but also potentially increasing their returns because you've got a return, we'll call it a return stream or a cash flow stream that's not tied to one particular management team or one particular business model. Because obviously South America, Mexico in particular, is radically different from America in culture and distribution and the way they think about things. Like I never would have thought about having Coca-Cola delivered by the caseload to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like the old school milk where they actually come and pick up the bottles and take it away? Is that oh my goodness, that's
they're
brilliant.
delivering plastic crates of or wooden crates of your bottles.
Yeah.
And they stack them up outside, usually outside your back door, and you just take it and they deliver another load next week. People drink it rather than water. Now, that may not say too much for the water, but it is so common. It's just part of the daily routine. You will see the Coke delivery truck going by, and it's not an articulated truckload of 50-foot loaded with crates going to Costco or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is a local delivery truck, the same as you will see the beer trucks that go around and deliver here to restaurants or whatever. So, but they're full of Coke, so they're not small. This is not a hey, there's a guy in the back of a truck and he's unloading a few. This is a lot of Coke. It's huge amounts of it being delivered.
Oh yeah, market cap 16 billion. That is not a small operation. That is amazing.